Hello friends, we are back in action. We have gone places, we have read some books, and now it's time to discuss and catch you up on what's been going on. So I think the last time we spoke, I was on my way or getting ready to go to New York, and I had the loveliest time. I met up with my best friends from college, as well as some family that was in New York at the same time, and it was just perfect. The vibes were immaculate. I got to meet the lovely Alex and their beautiful partner. It was incredible. They really just made my trip. It was just so sweet. And I wish I could have met up with more of my lovely friends, but it was just a lot, and in hindsight, I probably should have planned things a little bit better and maybe stayed a little bit more. But now I know for next time, and if anything, it just leaves more people and more things to see and do when I go back, which hopefully it'll be next year for Zoe's graduation. So she's also going to law school in New York, but she's a year ahead of me. So yeah, maybe we'll have a New York vlog next year, because I did zero filming. I have not a single clip of me in New York City, so I apologize. I was just not in my vlogging headspace and I failed you. But anyway, I wanted to share one book that I got when I was hanging out with the sweet Alex, and that is, oh wait, I don't have it, give me a sec. So the book in question is A Single Man by Isherwood. What's their first name? Christopher Isherwood. And yeah, this is their favorite book, or one of them. And it's a nice little mini. I'm very excited to read and discuss with Alex. And I believe Pato also read this. And maybe I'll discuss it with them as well. But yes, this is, I guess we could do a little book haul, because well, this is the only book I got in New York, which I was really proud of myself for not going ham with the book buying, or any buying really, except for some food. But that was, and a lot of churros actually. I love churros, and there was a churro place right next to Zoe's house, and I did some damage. But anyway, yes, that is the book that I got there, and I'm really looking forward to reading this. And then I went to my favorite, or one of my favorite bookstores, McLeod's in Vancouver, and I found this, Voyage in the Dark by Jean Reese, I don't know. And I was, again, I sound like such a creep, but I was stalking Melissa Broder's Goodreads, and she rated this 5 stars, and I happened to see it at the bookstore, and I was like, oh, meant to be, because you don't see this author too much. So yes, that's the other book that I bought recently. And then as recently as just a few hours ago, I was downtown. Oh my gosh, what is this? Oh, just kidding. I always like holding on to any random little notes or postcards or whatever that you find inside of used books, but that's actually not that exciting. Oh wait, we've got another one. Oh, just a random piece of paper. Anyway, I was downtown with my mother celebrating belated Mother's Day, and we had a nice little brunch, and we had to wait for half an hour. So I went to my other favorite bookstore, the Paper Hound, also downtown, and I bought Zammy, A New Spelling of My Name by Audre Lorde, because I'm reading Sister Outsider, and it's the most incredible nonfiction work that I have read all year, and it's just been incredible. I've been reading out passages to my parents and forcing them to listen to the goodness that is Audre Lorde. So when I saw this there and it was $10, I was like, she's coming home with me. So, and I really like the cover actually. It's very cool. So yes, those are my latest acquisitions, and I'm gonna chill the frick out. I get overwhelmed when I'm not reading at the same level as I'm buying books. Just doesn't seem right to me. So I need to read more so that I can justify buying more, but I'm cut off. That needs to stop. So anyway, yeah, so then I came back to, sorry, I'm like jumping all over the place, but I came back from New York, and then I went to Seattle for a few days to visit my family there, and I got to eating and consuming some books. So I'm jumping gears now, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about the books that I read in May. I can't even believe I'm doing a wrap up, and I read more than just like a single 100-page novella. Like, it's been a minute since I can say like, oh my God, I've consumed something. So I'm gonna try and go through these kind of fast, but so as not to bore you too much. But the first book, and I actually finished this in New York, and that is In the Distance by Hernan Diaz. And don't mind me getting like 90% of these books wet, which is so annoying. So all of the, or not all of them, but part of the pages and the little like margin of my books are all now messed up and water damaged. But anyway, back to what's important. Hernan Diaz, In the Distance, not my cup of tea. Like, it's objectively a perfectly fine story. There is great writing. It is somewhat compelling. I mean, I guess like most people would say it's like compelling and an intriguing story. So it's a Western. We follow a young boy who is separated from his brother while they're coming from Sweden to America, and he gets on a voyage to the West Coast, and the brother and him had intentions to be and live in New York. So it's his journey, and like doesn't really ever reach the East Coast, but like the young boy's journey to get east to hopefully find the brother in New York. So it's like really what's the word, like not desperate, but like it's really agitating because he never like attains the goal. But that's not the point of the book. I suppose the book is like the journey to getting there, and him growing up in this really arid and harsh climate, and the people that he meets, and really beautiful imagery of the United States, like frontier, if you will. But it just wasn't my cup of tea. I don't know why, but I just did not connect to the main character. Like, he fell a little bit flat for me, although like Hernan Diaz does try to do a good job, and like I'm sure some people would like contest me on this, but like I don't know, I was kind of frustrated too with like he'd always be like set back, and yeah, I was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna like lose my mind. This needs to go somewhere, like something needs to happen. Nothing goes well for this man, like not even a single thing. His like two little love interests get shot, literally like out of the picture. The man lives in exile, like all to himself for like years on end. And yeah, I just wanted a little more for our boy. I wanted a bit like, I don't know, just something. Or like even just like magic would have been really nice. Like some magical realist elements would have kind of been nice here. And yeah, I don't know. It just like did not do it for me. Not memorable. I honestly couldn't really tell you like any specifics, rather than just feeling underwhelmed and frustrated. And yeah, I just wouldn't really recommend it to like lit fic girlies, because this just ain't it. But I don't know, like you suss it out for yourself. I may just be destroying this and you might think otherwise. So just take this with a grain of salt, because I know people like this, but kind of a waste of my time. Sorry. Okay. We read Pawn, but I already talked about this. Loved it. 10 out of 10. Again, completely damaged because of, again, water. The next read after In the Distance, which I started also and finished, I think, in New York, is If an Egyptian Cannot Speak English by Noor Naga. And holy shit, this was so freaking good. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. If anything, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be such a fun summer read. Wrong. It is so intense. It is so engrossing and all-consuming and like very confronting and dark and gritty and very honest, and it's a lot. Like, get ready. If you are jumping into this thinking like this is such a fun little beach read about like little lovers coming together in Egypt, nope. That is not it. Like at the surface, like in the most like brush stroke, broad categorization, sure, it is about two individuals. One is native to Cairo. The other, I'm blanking on whether she was born in Cairo and then moves to the US and then comes back, or if her family immigrated and she was born in the US. But after college, she decides to go to Cairo and experience where her parents and potentially herself, where she grew up. They meet and start a romantic relationship, and it's basically the life cycle of a abusive relationship. And yes, so trigger warning, there is rape, there is domestic violence, and it's just a lot. But it was a really important story to be told. It is looking and dissecting so many different components and themes done in a really beautiful and unique kind of way. The book is structured as, or at least I want to say like half of the book, because it's broken into 3 parts. So 2 of the parts, each chapter or each little section starts with a question being posed, and it flip-flops from the perspective of the woman and her abuser. So that's who were the POVs that we are hearing from in the novel. And then there's like a meta twist at the end that just like makes it even more incredible, and I just absolutely loved it. But yes, just know maybe like what you're getting yourself into, and like look into this a little bit more, because I literally went into it not knowing anything and I was like, wow, okay, like this is where we're going, let's go. But yes, certainly a favorite read of mine this year. This came into vision thanks to the beautiful Pato, so thank you. Did not disappoint. It was great, but I just was not expecting that at all. Okay, and then like to completely switch gears, after that I read Journal of a Solitude by May Sarton, and this was like a warm hug. This is like the type of book that you read and you find yourself like smiling and like nodding along and feeling just like so warm and happy and like you're in the company of like a really sweet friend. This is what this was, truly. And there's like little nuggets of wisdom and just really sweet insight and exploring certain ideas that like I just honestly had never really like pondered. Like she speaks a lot about how the quality and the love that we can give strengthens and becomes even deeper the older we become. So like this notion of like finding, Jesus Christ, there's like a party downstairs. Sorry if you hear like children yelling and screaming. That's what it is. It's just teenagers downstairs. But yeah, she's just basically talking about the power and assurance and self-confidence that comes with age, and this erroneous idea that like you find your like big love early in life and you're pretty much doomed if you never encounter that person when you're young and like fertile and like in your 20s. And same goes with like sex and intimacy. Like you just grow into that and things get even better the older you are, rather than this narrative of the older you get you're like asexual or you don't have the capacity of like intimacy or desire to. So yeah, just like considerations along those lines that I just found really empowering and really beautiful to hear her perspective on, as well as obviously a lot of musings on the natural world and her garden and the things that are blossoming and popping up, and how careful and considered she is with bringing little pieces of the outside world into her home, and the care that she puts into having beautiful flowers around and creating this really beautiful meditative space where she can create and write. And yeah, it was just really, really nice. Also, the last little bit about the disentanglement with the partner that we started, because this book is a year's worth of journal entries, and at the beginning of the book, we hear of this person X that she is in a romantic partnership with, and then towards the end of the book, they're no longer together, and just relatable. So I really loved also her touching on, like romantic partnerships and the beauty that exists with being alone and in solitude, and what that means for this woman in particular, and something that we can all take from. So absolutely loved it. It was so delightful. And then, like I mentioned when I was talking about Zami, is Sister Outsider, which is a collection of essays and talks that Audre Lorde has given throughout her lifetime. And this was also just completely mind-blowing and such an important read. If you don't even want to buy this whole thing, just do me a favor and look up Poetry is Not a Luxury, as well as Uses of the Erotic is Power, and Sexism and American Disease and Blackface. Honestly, all of them. Never mind, just buy this. I was gonna say you can find these essays online because I read a couple of these when I was in my undergrad, just like for free online. But her voice and her contributions to society are truly incredible, especially because she was born in the 1930s and she died in like 1991, I believe. So it's particularly impressive, and just I applaud her bravery and her voice in what she was saying and advocating for in a time when these views, and still are, like considered radical. So there's just so much wisdom in these pages, and it's just been a complete just honor to have this, to be honest with you. I just really recommend that you pick this up if you're in the mood for a critical read, a read about racism, sexism, critical race theory, queer studies. Like this is your book, this is your girl. It's truly magnificent, and I could not recommend it enough. And like I said, if you can't find this book in particular, just look up the essays that I've mentioned. Just think critically of the world and nod your head and go like, yes, when you're reading her beautiful words. So she was a poet, scholar, feminist, just all the things, and I just love her. So that is all that I have for you today. I'm back home, obviously, so we are diving on in even more with the reading. I'm making my way slowly but surely through my summer reading list, and I'm having a beautiful time doing it. It's just been such a privilege to be able to read for hours on end on my parents' deck, and I just don't take it for granted because this is probably going to be the last summer that I can just do that. So if you have any recommendations, or if you've read anything particularly good this month, please let me know. And if you want to see anything else from me, oh my gosh, I should also say thank you so much for 4,000 subscribers. That was a nice little piece of news that I realized when I was away, and it made me just love this little community even more. Not that I like care about the numbers at all, to be honest with you, but it just does feel so nice to have a space where I can just geek out about books, and there's other people watching on the other end who are also like nerdy and enjoy this kind of thing. So that just brings a lot of happiness to my life. So thank you so much. If you have any questions for me, anything at all, you can write it downstairs. I'll probably film a 4K Q&A soon, and sending you lots of XOs, and I hope we see each other very soon. Bye!